Before we begin, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. If you like my stories, please consider giving me like and subscribe. It means the whole world to me. Enjoy the stories, and I hope you get the scare you're looking for. I've always been curious. Not brave, just curious. That's what got me into trouble in the first place. I used to spend nights on Reddit and obscure forums, reading about red rooms, cursed games, and lost footage said to be hidden deep within the dark web. Most of it was urban legend, digital folklore made to entertain or scare kids who thought they were hackers because they installed Tor. But one story caught my eye again and again. Whatever you do, don't visit Mirror. It's not a site, it's a trap. You'll know it when you see it. It looks exactly like a reflection of something else you've already been to, but it'll feel wrong. Once you're in, it watches you. Don't stay longer than 7 minutes. I figured it was just another piece of creepypasta. Still, the way people described it was always the same. A duplicate website, down to the layout and content, but something slightly off. Wrong colors, distorted images, unreadable text. Sound when there shouldn't be any, and always the countdown. I forgot about it for a while, until 2 weeks ago. I was trawling through some onion links, mostly junk or dead sites, when I found something familiar, a replica of a popular whistleblower forum I visited often. The URL looked close but was mirrored, as if someone typed it backwards. I clicked. Same layout, same posts, but the timestamps were strange. One thread I recognized was dated 10 minutes in the future, another a day ago, but I remembered reading it that same morning. My screen flickered once. Then I heard the whisper, very faint, like someone mumbling behind me just below the range of comprehension. My speakers were off. A red countdown timer appeared in the upper left corner. I thought of the story immediately. I laughed, nervous but still curious. The threads started changing. One was titled with my IP address. Another said, "He's watching you through the screen." Okay, I was freaked out, but I figured it was a prank. Some kind of social engineering trick. I hovered over the X to close the browser. Nothing happened. Click, click, click. Still nothing. The timer ticked down. The mumbling behind me grew louder. It wasn't a voice. It was like a wet, guttural gargle, someone trying to breathe with a crushed trachea. Then, something changed in the room. I didn't see anything. Not at first. But I felt it. That primal shiver. The one you get when you know someone is behind you even when you're alone. I turned around slowly. No one. Except the mirror across the room wasn't showing my reflection. Instead, it showed me, still sitting, but grinning. A wide, twisted grin I wasn't making. My mirror image raised its hand and waved slowly. I didn't. My heart dropped. Panic set in. I killed the Tor process. Shut my laptop. Yanked the power. Nothing worked. The screen was still on. The mirror image still waving. Then it typed something into the open chat window. "Don't look away." I ran. The next 3 days were a blur of sleep deprivation and paranoia. My laptop was fried, completely bricked. I threw it out, burned it even. But every screen I passed, from TVs to digital ads to my phone, glitched when I walked by. For just a second, I'd see the reflection, my reflection, watching, smiling. I stopped sleeping. I covered every mirror in my house. But the reflections didn't stop. My bathroom mirror had a crack in it. One night, I peeled back the towel covering it, just to check. It was pitch black in the glass, no reflection at all. Then a knock, from inside the mirror. I started recording myself sleeping, what little I could manage. On the second night, the video cut to static. When it returned, someone was sitting on my bed. It was me, or what looked like me. Same clothes, same face, except the smile. It never blinked, never moved. Just stared at the camera for 2 solid hours before the footage ended. I moved out the next day, checked into a motel 2 towns over. No mirrors, no screens. I thought I could wait it out. Last night, I woke up to the TV in the motel room turning on by itself. I'd unplugged it. The screen showed static at first. Then, my face. Then, that face. The grinning one. Except now it was talking, lips moving soundlessly. Then I realized it wasn't talking. It was miming, mocking me. It held up 7 fingers. Then 6. I shut my eyes, covered my ears. But I still saw it, in my head. I'm writing this from a public library, surrounded by people, screens, lights. But it doesn't matter. It's following me now. It's in every reflection, every screen, every thought. You're probably wondering why I'm telling you this. Because the countdown just started again. And this time, it's not just watching me. If you've read this far, it knows your name. It's mirrored your IP. You'll see the red timer soon. And whatever you do, don't look at the mirror. I never believed the red rooms were real. You hear stories, urban legends whispered in anonymous forums or horror threads designed to scare teens off the dark web. Pay in crypto, watch live torture, vote on what happens next. Sick fantasy, I thought, until I found Room 303. It started with a disappearing subreddit. One moment it was there, then gone the next. But not before I saw a post with a link that didn't look like an onion address. It was cleaner, like a URL trying to blend in. The title read, "Do not watch this if you value your sleep. Room 303 is back." My cursor hovered. I knew I shouldn't, but I clicked. The screen blinked once and went black. My speakers popped with a strange low static. No loading icon, just the blackness, until a white text appeared. "This room sees you." I stared, waiting. The static morphed into a faint hum, almost like breathing. Then, a countdown. The feed started. A room, dimly lit with a swinging light bulb. Concrete walls, stained with dark smears. In the center, a metal chair bolted to the ground. Straps on the arms. Something was lying beneath it. Dark red, congealed. Blood, obviously, but old. The chat was active, though anonymous. "She's coming." "About time, last one was fire." 303 always delivers." I wanted to close the tab. Every instinct screamed at me to stop. But I didn't. A steel door at the back opened with a metallic groan. 2 figures entered. One, a woman in a black dress, elegant, almost out of place. Her face was covered with a white porcelain mask, cracked down one cheek, eyes hollow. The other was a man, tall, dressed like a butcher, leather apron, gloves, and a welder's mask smeared with dried blood. They dragged in a third person, a boy. Couldn't have been older than 16. Gagged, blindfolded, wrists bound with zip ties. He was sobbing, incoherent. The chat erupted. "Vote time! Go for the eyes this round." "No, electricity. I paid 0.3 Bitcoin for this." That's when I saw the poll appear on the bottom corner of the screen. "Choose the method. Blades, electricity, fire, let them go." Votes surged. Electricity won. The masked woman clapped twice. The man wheeled over a car battery rigged with jumper cables. The boy thrashed in the chair, trying to scream through the gag. The cables sparked. I closed the tab. Or tried to. It wouldn't close. The browser locked. My mouse froze. The screen pulsed. The image warped. Then, something I still can't explain, the camera feed looked at me. It's the only way I can describe it. The light bulb seemed to flicker in sync with my own desk lamp. The masked woman turned, staring directly into the lens. A new message appeared on the screen. Participant added, "User 147328, welcome." I yanked my Ethernet cable. Screen went black. My laptop shut off. I was shaking. Thought it was over. It wasn't. That night my webcam light turned on by itself. I wasn't even logged in. I taped over the lens, turned the device off completely, and shoved it in a drawer. I didn't sleep. In the morning there was an envelope at my door. No name, no stamp. Inside was a single photograph. Me, watching the screen, eyes wide, terrified. My apartment door was locked, no signs of entry. I moved, changed my number, got off every platform, burned the laptop. Still, the images came. Slipped under doors, left on my car windshield, one every week, each showing a new victim in room 303. Sometimes the photo came with a note. They scream better when you watch. 6 months later, I got a package. A thumb drive. No return address, no label, just the drive. I should have thrown it away, but I didn't. Obsession had taken root. I booted up a burner laptop, disconnected from Wi-Fi, and opened the drive. One file. I clicked play. Same room, same bulb. But this time I was the one in the chair. Or someone who looked exactly like me. Duct tape over the mouth, stripped to the waist, eyes full of terror. The butcher held a scalpel in one hand. I slammed the laptop shut. It kept playing. I swear it kept playing, even with the lid closed. Muffled screams, metallic slicing, the butcher whispering my name, my real name. I got a new job across the country, cut ties, no devices, just books, analog life. It didn't help. The room finds a way. I see flashes now, in puddles, in mirrors, in dreams. The masked woman, the chair, the boy. Sometimes I hear a low hum in the walls, a countdown. Last week I got a call. Blocked number. I didn't answer. They left a voicemail, just static. Then a voice, raspy, hollow. Voting has begun. You're next. I'm writing this from a motel. No location services. Cash only. Borrowed laptop. I know they'll find me soon. But I want someone to know. Someone to believe. Red rooms are real. Not just torture. It's something deeper. A ritual. A game. A broadcast for something not human. I think that room isn't in our world anymore. It's feeding. And it needs an audience. If you find this post, don't search for it. Don't click unknown links. Don't watch the feed. Because once you've seen it, Room 303 sees you too. I never should have clicked the link. It came to me at 3:09 a.m., because of course it did, buried in the comment section of an old conspiracy forum. The thread was about red rooms, those mythical live streams where people were supposedly tortured or killed for the amusement of paying viewers. Most people in the thread were laughing it off, throwing around debunks and amateur sleuth theories. But then someone named Sealerthanu left a comment that just said, "If you want to know if they're real, go here. Don't stay longer than 5 minutes." Below that was a link, encrypted, onion-routed, a mess of characters that practically screamed you shouldn't be here. I'm not proud to admit it, but I was already on a downward spiral, drinking too much, sleeping too little, and letting the void of the web pull me deeper. That's what makes the internet dangerous. It rewards the curious and punishes the vulnerable. I was both. I clicked the link. The screen went black. No browser, no exit button, no task manager, just blackness and the faint sound of static. Then a red dot appeared in the center, like the recording light on an old VHS camcorder. The camera turned on. I don't mean my webcam, I mean a camera somewhere else. I was now watching a dimly lit room, walls covered in peeling red wallpaper, as if soaked in dried blood. There was a metal chair in the center, shackles bolted to the arms, a drain in the floor, a yellow-stained sink in the corner. It looked like a torture chamber from a low-budget horror movie, but this felt real. Too real. No sound. Just the hum of whatever unseen equipment was broadcasting this feed. Then a man entered, masked, wearing surgical scrubs, his hands gloved. He wheeled in a cart. On it, a hacksaw, pliers, syringes, a leather case. A timer started in the bottom right corner. I remembered the comment, "Don't stay longer than 5 minutes." This had to be a prank, an ARG or something, just high-effort shock content. Then the door opened again. A woman was pushed in, blindfolded, duct tape over her mouth, hands bound. She was crying. I couldn't move. The man didn't look at the camera. He strapped her into the chair, humming softly. The timer ticked down. 04:33. He opened the leather case. Inside were dental tools, rusted, used, the kind you see in nightmares and 1940s medical documentaries. He picked up an extractor. I slammed the laptop shut. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that woman, heard her muffled screams, wondered what had happened in the remaining 4 minutes. I told myself it was fake. It had to be. But there was something off about the entire experience. Too raw, too quiet. No jump cuts, no subscribe buttons. The next day, my laptop wouldn't turn on. Battery was fine. No hardware issues. Just dead. Later that night, I received an email. No subject, no sender. Just a blank message with a JPG attachment. Against my better judgment, I opened it. It was a screenshot of me, watching the red room. My face lit by the glow of the screen, my eyes wide. The angle was from inside my room. I didn't go to the police. What would I say? I clicked a creepy link on a conspiracy forum and now someone is watching me? They'd confiscate my laptop, what was left of it, and probably arrest me for accessing the dark web. I taped over my webcam. I turned off all my devices. I stopped sleeping in my bedroom. I drank myself into blackouts just to escape the weight of that image. But the emails kept coming, one each night, me sleeping on the couch, my bathroom mirror. In the reflection, a tall shadow behind the curtain. A close-up of my eye, taken while I slept. I smashed my phone, moved apartments, changed my name in online databases. I stayed offline for 6 months. But you can't run forever. A year passed. Things got better. The nightmares faded, dulled by time and therapy. I got a new laptop, avoided dark forums, stuck to the surface web. My therapist encouraged me to write about what happened. Face the fear, she said. Confront the delusion and it will lose power. I started typing it all out. Got about 500 words in before the screen went black again. The red dot appeared. My breath caught. The same room came into view, but this time it was brighter, cleaner. The walls were fresh red, No peeling. The sink had been scrubbed, and the camera, it was higher, wider angle. The same masked man entered. But this time he didn't wheel in a cart. He wheeled in a person. Me, or someone who looked like me. Same haircut, same hoodie, same scar on the eyebrow. The figure was unconscious, tied to the chair. The man looked at the camera for the first time, slowly raised one gloved hand. Waved. The timer started. I screamed, threw the laptop across the room, but the screen didn't crack. It didn't even dent. It was stuck. No matter what I did, the screen stayed on. The countdown ticked. Then the masked man held up a card, handwritten, sloppy. You broke the rule. He took out a scalpel. He made the first cut. I watched myself bleed. Or whoever it was. I cried. I begged the screen to stop. But the man kept going, methodical and calm. He held up another card. Tell anyone, and next time it's real. The screen went black. The laptop powered down. This time it never turned back on. I left town, disconnected from everything. No phone, no internet, no electricity. I live in a cabin in the woods now, surrounded by silence. The kind of silence that's supposed to be peaceful, but just feels like the calm before something terrible. I still see the red room sometimes when I sleep. Worse, I see myself in that chair, awake this time, strapped in, unable to scream. I don't know if it was a hallucination, a snuff film, a curse, or some sick AI-designed psychological warfare. But the rules were simple. Don't click the link, don't tell anyone. And I've just broken all three. If you see the red dot, don't watch. They say the Red Room doesn't exist. A myth born from internet urban legends fueled by paranoia, pixelated screenshots, and whispers in dark forums. But after what I experienced, I know one thing for sure. Not everything that bleeds from the web is fiction. It started like any other late-night rabbit hole. I was 3 cups of coffee deep into a binge, skimming forums on the deep web, poking through hidden services out of boredom and reckless curiosity. Most were scams, bizarre fetish sites, and poorly designed marketplaces peddling knockoff narcotics or forged documents. Then I found the link. No title, no description, just a string of numbers and letters in red text. Almost a dare. I clicked it. A black screen loaded first, then a countdown timer. The seconds ticked down. Chat text appeared. Welcome. You've been chosen. The Red Room begins soon. My gut tightened. I'd heard the term before. An alleged live stream where viewers watched real-time torture, executions, sometimes even voting on what the victim would endure next. But none of those claims were ever substantiated. Everyone said they were fakes, ARGs, performance art. I stayed. The timer hit 0. The screen flashed red, then resolved into a grainy overhead camera feed of a dimly lit room. Walls painted deep crimson. A metal chair bolted to the floor. A single light bulb swayed above it. In the chair, a woman sat bound at the wrists and ankles, duct tape over her mouth. She was maybe in her 30s, pale, eyes darting wildly as the camera zoomed in. Chat messages exploded on the screen. Oh shit, it's real. What's the pain menu tonight? Round 1 begins. Vote now. 4 options appeared. Razor to the cheek, finger dislocation, acid drip, electric shock. Votes surged. Electric shock won. The woman screamed behind the tape as the voltage hit her, limbs convulsing. I slammed my laptop shut. I couldn't sleep that night. The woman's eyes haunted me, not because of the fear, but because they looked right at the camera, as if she knew someone, me, was watching. The next morning I told myself it had to be fake, pre-recorded. There was no way it was real. But the link was still in my browser history. I clicked again. Another timer, 12 hours. I told myself I'd record it, send it to the authorities, expose whoever was behind this. When midnight came, I was there again. Same room, different victim. A teenage boy, maybe 16. His lip trembled. He muttered something, inaudible. I recognized the look in his eyes this time. Hopelessness. Round 1, begin. The options this time included pliers to fingernails and branding iron. I looked away. When the boy screamed, I unplugged the laptop. I didn't sleep for 2 nights after that. I wanted to stop, but each time I tried to move on, something pulled me back. It wasn't guilt. It was deeper, like a voice whispering beneath my thoughts. The Red Room became a part of me. On the 4th night, I noticed something new. As the countdown ended, my webcam light turned on. I hadn't touched it. I covered it with tape. That night, the feed didn't show a victim. It showed me. A perfect recreation of my room, my desk, my face, staring in confusion at the screen. The chat erupted in all caps. "It's him. Full circle, baby. Welcome to the room." I backed away. The screen followed. The me on screen turned around in sync, mirroring me perfectly. Then the lights in the red room dimmed, and the me on screen smiled. I didn't. The screen went black. Then a message in red. "We see you. You're next." I slammed the laptop shut. The next day, I tossed it in a dumpster. I tried to go about life normally. Coffee shop work sessions, walks in the park. I deleted my deep web browsers, changed passwords, even bought a new device. But at night, I heard soft clicks, as if keys were being pressed while I slept. My phone would buzz at 3 a.m., notifications from an unknown app I didn't install. Once I opened the camera app and saw the red room, empty, waiting. I moved apartments, new city, new job. I left everything behind. But it followed me. 2 weeks into my fresh start, I received a USB in the mail, no return address. I threw it away without opening it. The next morning, my new laptop had a single file on the desktop. I didn't open it. I couldn't. I called the police. They found nothing. No forced entry, no malware, just one file, untraceable, immune to deletion. The detective suggested I get some rest. I checked into a hotel, left everything behind. That night, a knock came at 2:17 a.m. I didn't answer. Another knock. Then, the old dial-up modem tone shrieked from the hotel TV. Static filled the screen. The red room appeared. Empty chair. Then my name in the chat. "You've been very disobedient, Alex." I turned to run. The hallway was red, not painted, wet. I slipped, caught myself, looked at my hand. Blood. The walls oozed with it. Writing formed as it dripped. "Stay with us." I stumbled to the stairs, pounded on doors. No answer. Everyone gone. Back in my room, the screen changed. The chair was no longer empty. It was me again, but this time I was bleeding. The me on screen lifted its head. "Help me," it said. Then the screen split. One side showed the bleeding version of me, the other side a list of options. The chat voted, screamed. We waited long enough.
"Tear his eyes out!"
Final round, vote now. My body seized, my vision blurred. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Pain bloomed behind my eyes, so real it wasn't just a hallucination. I passed out. When I woke up, it was morning. Sunlight, birds chirping. The TV was off. My hands were intact, no blood, no wounds. But the USB drive was on the table, despite me never bringing it here. It now had a label, "Play me or it gets worse." I crushed it under my boot. Nothing happened. I left the hotel that morning, went to a friend's place, told him everything. He laughed it off. "Man, you've been online too long. Sleep, weed. You'll be fine." He let me crash on the couch. That night, I woke to him screaming. I rushed into the living room. He was staring at the TV, eyes wide, skin pale, pointing. The red room, he saw it too. In the chair was him, bound, bleeding, begging. Before I could speak, the screen flashed. New viewer joined, Alex. Voting begins in. I pulled the plug, but the screen stayed on. The numbers kept counting down. That was 6 months ago. I don't go near electronics now. No internet, no phones. I live in a cabin far off grid. Candlelight, firewood, silence. But every night I still hear the clicks, the quiet rhythmic typing. Even when I close my eyes, and sometimes when the fire burns low and the night grows still, I see a faint red glow just outside the window, waiting for the next round. Elliot had always been a curious coder. Too curious, maybe. When he wasn't freelancing as a back-end engineer, he spent late nights exploring the more obscure corners of the internet. At first, it had been idle fun, forums about unsolved cryptography, ARGs, darknet puzzles, nothing dangerous, nothing real. Until he found a thread on an invite-only forum titled, "The Feed, Watch Carefully, Participate at Your Own Risk." The post contained nothing but a string of hexadecimal code and a warning. Once you see it, it sees you. Elliot was hooked. He decoded the string easily. It pointed to a hidden service, a live stream. The interface was almost elegant in its simplicity. Black background, red text. One button, enter the feed. He clicked. At first the screen was blank, then static. And then someone sat down in front of the camera. A man, face completely obscured by a mask, hand carved, painted bone white, with empty black eye sockets. Behind him, a room, windowless, lit by a single swinging bulb. There were stains on the floor, but the resolution was too low to tell what kind. The masked man didn't speak. Instead, he held up a card to the camera. Who will be first to suggest? On the right side of the screen, Elliot noticed a live chat window. Dozens of anonymous users were already typing. Scare them. Blindfold. Let's see fear. Make it scream. The camera panned to the corner of the room. A person sat on the floor. They were bound, hooded, shaking. Elliot's blood ran cold. He tried to exit the stream, but the button was gone. The only thing left on the page was the feed. The browser wouldn't close. His system wouldn't respond. Even Task Manager was locked. He reached for the power switch. The stream went black for a second. Then the masked man appeared again, this time closer to the camera. And he held a new card. You are part of it now. When Elliot finally pulled the plug on his PC, it stayed off. For a while. But the next morning, when he powered it back up, the feed auto-launched. There was no shortcut, no process running in Task Manager. But it was there, always watching. He began seeing strange behavior. His webcam light flickered when he wasn't using it. His emails were filled with strange spam and broken languages. One simply read, "Don't look away when the red light blinks." That's how it knows you're paying attention. More disturbing were the images. Random JPEGs would appear in his downloads folder, grainy stills from the feed. Sometimes they showed him asleep in his bed or staring at his monitor. Once one showed a reflection of the masked man standing in the doorway behind him, but when he turned, there was no one there. He went to the police. They laughed it off, thought he was paranoid, stoned, or both. They told him to wipe his drive and stop visiting the dark web. Spooky stories, they said. Digital boogeymen. He wiped everything. New OS, factory reset on the router. He even replaced his hard drive. 2 days later, a package arrived at his door. Unmarked. Inside, a USB stick and a handwritten note. You can't erase participation. We saw you watch. You watched long enough. He plugged in the USB, foolishly, half believing it was a prank. The only file was an executable. When he ran it, the screen went black. His webcam light turned on, and the feed started again. Only this time, he was the subject. The camera faced him directly, broadcasted to an invisible audience. The chat returned. Is he scared? Make him do something. He deserves it. A timer appeared. It began counting down. And beneath it, a prompt. Complete the task to stay on the outside or do nothing and join the inside. Each day brought a new task. At first, they were strange but harmless. Break a mirror. Go to the park at 2:17 a.m. Stay awake for 36 hours. But they escalated. Send us your blood. Scream until your voice breaks. Follow the girl in the red coat. Don't be seen. Each time he refused, the feed would glitch. The screen would ripple like a disturbed pool of water. And each time, he'd lose time. Hours. Sometimes entire nights. He'd wake up on the floor, or outside, or staring into the webcam again, with no memory of what happened. Soon he stopped resisting. Soon he began to need the feed. To check it obsessively, to wait for the next task, as if each instruction gave him a reason to keep going. But the worst came when the feed glitched violently and showed something different. A room, a body, one he recognized, his own. The chat was dead silent for a long time. And then, you weren't fast enough. The mask is waiting. Elliot went off-grid. No tech, no phone. He burned the USB stick, destroyed every piece of hardware he owned, moved into a tiny cabin in the mountains. Just paper, firewood, and silence. For a few weeks it worked. Then one night, a storm knocked out the power, and in the dark, something inside the cabin buzzed. A glow, not from a screen, from inside the walls, and when he followed it, with trembling fingers and a growing cold in his gut, he found a camera, buried behind the paneling, wired to something, and next to it a card, bone white, handwritten. Welcome to the inside. They found the cabin weeks later, after a hiker reported strange lights and noises. There was no sign of Elliot, only static playing from a laptop with no power supply. The screen showed a feed, an empty room, a chair, and a mask on the floor. Every 24 hours, the stream resets. A new name appears in the chat, and someone somewhere starts watching. Who will be next to suggest? Thank you for listening. Hope I didn't scare you too much. If you like my stories, please consider giving me a like and subscribe. See you next time.